So, hello everyone, I am BlackOpsAmazing. Welcome back to another Black Ops 3 Zombies video on my channel. Today we are going to be talking about a question that I have been getting an awful lot in my comments section. I made a video not too long ago pointing out the pictures of the Wolf King, telling us the story of the Wolf King in EISENDRACHE. Now, in one of those paintings, the very interesting thing is you can see Leroy from the map buried. And today, that's what we're going to be talking about. Why is this mysterious character that we really don't know too much about crying and kneeling down towards the dead king? I'm sorry if you can also tell my voice is very sore right now, but however, I am going to try my best to get over it and make these videos for you. If you do enjoy the video, a like rating would be much appreciated, but obviously it's totally up to you guys. Thank you for watching, and let's get straight into it. So in EISENDRACHE, we have 4 paintings, and these 4 paintings tell us a story of events that happened in the past. They tell us the story of a great battle that happened many millennium years ago between the Wolf King and the Apothicons. We have 4 different paintings, and our characters give them to us in an order, so we do know in what order these paintings will show the progression of this great battle. We start out with this one, showing us a picture of a knight or a king sitting on his throne with 2 wolves either side of him. Many people right now are calling this the Wolf King, so that's just what we're going to go with, but you can see this character sitting on his chair. We can guess that he's preparing for this great battle. As we come on to painting 2 and progress through the story of this great battle, we then see the Wolf King ready to go into battle. With his army and his wolves beside him, the Wolf King is about to go into this great war. As we progress even further into the story of the Wolf King, on to number 3, it shows us what we are fighting, what the Wolf King is going against. This is the Apothicons. In the sky, you can see the creature that we see in the sky, and we respawn within shadows of evil. This creature existed many years ago, in fact hundreds of thousands of years ago, and was dormant until once again in Shadows of Evil our 4 characters awoken the beast. And then finally we come on to the last part of our story, where our king, our Wolf King, has died fighting the beast. The beast that you can see up in the sky right now, or sorry, in the previous picture, was too much of a challenge, and you can see the Wolf King was defeated. But the strange thing, and this is what we are making this video about, is you can see Leroy, or the giant from Buried, kneeling over and holding his head down towards our dead Wolf King. Now why is this? Why is Leroy doing this towards this dead Wolf King? The time zones totally don't fit. We know the great battle took place millenniums of years ago, yet when we see Leroy in Buried, we know Buried takes place sometime after Die Rise, which is between the 1990s and 2020s. So obviously there's a massive difference in the time. The map Buried itself is called Resolution 1295, which we can assume was the time as to when Buried, this map, this underground cavern, this underground town was actually active and full of people. We come into this map Buried in the 1990s or 2020s, and it is so random. It is a very strange map in the middle of nowhere. It's a hidden town underground, and if you go far enough in a prison cell, in a very old prison cell, you will see Leroy locked up, putting his head down, doing a very similar pose to the one he is doing to this Wolf King. This is what you will see Leroy do in the game whenever he gets scared, or whenever he's frightened, he will run back to his cell and do this exact pose. But since this map was active in 1295 and we play it around the 1990s, 2020s, is that saying that Leroy has been locked in this cell for 700 plus years, because that's the time gap or year difference between when we played it and when this map was active? If so, and that's the only logical explanation behind this, something is definitely not human about Leroy, and we can tell just by the way he looks. Yes, his features, his facial features are human, but his size, the way he acts, the things he does, bearing in mind Leroy doesn't harm us. In fact, when we free him from his cell, he will help us out. If we shoot him or knife him, he will just run back to his cage scared. So that shows that he isn't an enemy, he is a harmless character. But that just shows how long Leroy has been locked within this cell. Obviously, he doesn't age, and he certainly hasn't died over this time. So with him living these 900 plus years, and you may be thinking, well, that's impossible, he can't have lived here for 900 years. Well, we have absolutely no background about Leroy. Treyarch added him into this game, giving us no background about him. Literally all we know about him is he is this character that's been locked in this cell, who is harmless and likes booze, and will also help us out. But that's all we know about him. So is it possible for him to have lived all of these hundreds of thousands of years? What has happened to Leroy, or what makes him so special for him to live this long? For him to live from this great battle up until now in Buried? Does it possibly have something to do with Element 115. The only Easter egg we really have about Leroy is that on his fingers is the word sugar, which is actually misspelled S-U-G-R. We know he likes candy, but that is literally it. So then we go back to this image of Leroy. Some of you may not see him, so I will try my best to highlight it, but you can see he is wearing the same exact purple or blue dungarees. He has the same hairstyle. He is doing this classic pose that he does when he is scared or fearful. He bows his head down in shame and holds his hands over his shoulders, just like he does in Buried when he gets scared. But in this painting, he is doing this pose. He is kneeling down for the dead king. On Leroy's finger, there looks to be a ring, which might mean something, but however, it looks to me that Leroy is crying, and as I said, bowing down to the dead king. Now, why would he be doing this? From the way he is dressed, is it possible that Leroy was a servant or follower of this wolf king? It kind of reminds me of how you have those two people, those two friends, or that one leader and then that one just dumb person that will do anything for their leader. It kind of reminds me of that. Is it possible that the wolf king did something for Leroy, possibly saving his life or turning his life around? Maybe it was just something small for Leroy, giving him a home or giving him a job, or really anything. We know that Leroy is a dumb character. We can tell from when we play him in Buried, he's not the brightest character. Is it possible that this king did something maybe small for Leroy, but Leroy, being the person that he is, saw this as the wolf king possibly saving his life? Leroy, we can assume, had no friends, had no one else, and so looked up to this wolf king as this all-powerful great leader, or maybe even kind of like a father figure. So Leroy followed the king around and did everything for him, kind of like his servant. And now you can see the king is dead. Leroy is bowing down to him and putting down his head and crying, because it's almost like Leroy's father, this person that's taking care of him, this great leader that he's been looking up to, has died and Leroy has no one else. Could that explain why he is locked in this cell? The natural instinct that Leroy does every time we shoot him and knife him in Buried is he runs back to his cell and locks himself in. Is it possible that that's exactly what Leroy did in Buried? He ran away from here, being scared, having no one else, and locked himself inside of the cage in Buried. Since he no longer had the Wolf King there to protect him, and inside of the cell he thought that no one else could hurt him. I think that is a very possible theory, and I definitely would love Trout to give us some more information of this. One other thing you could say, and I think this is a little bit more boring, but it is possible that maybe an interdimensional convergence happened here, where we know our universes are colliding, smashing together, and things that aren't supposed to be in one universe are bleeding through into that. For example, we can see the Mob of the Dead plane in Shadows of Evil and the Giant, because the two universes have collided, hence we can see the plane. Maybe the universe that Leroy was in and the Fallen King was in merged together, hence why we can see both of them in the same image. But actually, I really do think the first thing that I've told you guys is very possible. We never had a backstory on Leroy. He's always been this strange character, and this makes a lot of sense. His reactions to getting shot, locking himself in the cage, this pose he makes. His leader, the only person he has dying, could be why Leroy is like he is. I'm gonna leave it there, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I've tried my best, and with a sore throat, I can't really do too much better, but if you have enjoyed the video, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And actually, one thing I would just like to say, which does make even more sense, I've been kind of arrogant in thinking that this battle only could have taken place many of millenniums of years ago. Our characters, when you point to these pictures, don't specifically give us a time. All we can see is this Wolf King fighting the Apothicans. We know that the great battle between our original four heroes and the Apothicans took place many of millennium of years ago, but we don't know if there was another one or something similar that took place back in 1295 in the 12th century. It is very possible that this great battle between the Wolf King and these Apothicans took place in the 12th century, at the time as to when Resolution 1295 was happening, which is the time of when we know Leroy was alive. So if that's the case, then these times do much fit in place. If you would like to drop me a like rating or share the video around, maybe on Facebook, click the share button below and also drop me a like rating. That'd be absolutely awesome. Thank you for watching, guys. If you have anything else you want to add, like I said, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and as always, I will try my very best to reply to you. I'm going to try my best to get better now. Make sure you subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for 160,000 subscribers. I have been BlackOpsAmazing, and as always, I will see you in the next video. Thank you and goodbye.